Hercules the musical, currently performing at the West End. I was very lucky enough to get a chance to actually see it in person the other day. I just wanted to share my thoughts real quick. So, first things, it's a great show. It is definitely living up to the hype, which you would hope, considering it's a Disney musical. I mean, those guys aren't exactly short of money. But yeah, they've definitely put the money into this production. It is definitely a big West End musical. They go all in on the spectacle, absolutely. So, in what ways does it hold up? So, firstly, the music. The music's good, yeah? It's got all the songs from the original animated film that you expect to hear. They are beautifully done. There's also a whole bunch of additional, original songs written. In terms of the original, stage musical only songs, a couple of them were really good. They were either really funny or poignant or just fun to watch. Others were fine, but they just didn't sort of leave in your head. You know, you didn't find yourself humming after them afterwards, but they were still fun. And it totally makes sense, you know, as fun a film as the animated one is, it didn't have a huge amount of songs to it. So you kind of would expect them to add a few on to make it a full-on stage musical. So that's the music. The stage direction. It's incredible. It's almost as big a star as the actual cast themselves. Essentially what they have done is they've created a bunch of these pillars, you know, the classic sort of Grecian pillars that you see in the animated version and, you know, in real history. And essentially they've got them on revolving and moving around. So that almost every scene they are reorganizing and reforming around. And it is just seamlessly done. And they use that to its full effect. That, along with a modern projected background, they create a wide variety of scenes. All of them, you know, with the pillars in, but they either bring them all in to create a temple, or they bring them back to create the outside. It's very effectively done. They definitely take advantage of the fact that this is a West End non-touring production, because of course when you've got a touring show, they have to minimize that element quite a bit, because of course you go from theatre to theatre to theatre. Not all theatres have the same level of tech and of size, so this one definitely takes advantage of that. You know, it's got the whole decorated border. You know, it's built into the theatre and it makes use of the space, absolutely. Also, side note, the Theatre Royal in London, it has a massive stage. It's not even that wide, but it is so deep. It goes all the way back. They can pack a lot onto that stage. Beautiful theatre. So that was the stage direction. Costuming, mwah, beautiful. It's all beautifully made. It looks good. The muses have they must have had at least half a dozen costume changes. And all the changes are flawless. They are beautifully done. The dresses, the heads, stylizations, everything is done to a very high standard. Again, what you would expect from a company as big as Disney putting it in. But it's nice to see that, because Disney, let's face it, they are quite, greedy for the old dollar. You know, they don't like to spend money when they don't have to. So it's nice to see them actually invest in it and not just do the bare minimum and sort of let the nostalgia sell it, because they could have done that quite easily. They've clearly put money into this to create a show that stands on its own, which is good, because, you know, hopefully this might end up becoming another classic show that runs for years and years and is a favourite for many, like Beauty and the Beast and with Lion King. Time will tell, obviously, but I would say it's a strong opening gambit. Cast. What's the cast like? The cast is great. They're really good. A lot of them have also been in other shows, so some of them were in Lion King, some others have been in things like Hades Town, and stuff like that. So they're all very, they're all veterans of the craft, they're all very good, they fulfill their roles well. The singing is beautiful. Hercules, brings it out. The woman who plays Meg is literally the character Meg brought to life. Like, she is fantastic. So yeah, finally, what's the story and characters like? This is the one part which is not... Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to say, spoiler alert, all right? At this point here in the video, we are officially about to transition into spoiler territory. So if you have not seen it yet, and you want to see it, or you want to know, and you don't want to go into any spoilers, do not watch any further. Suffice to say, at this moment in time on the video, I'm saying it is a great show and I thoroughly recommend it. But if you want to know my little gripes with the characterization, I'm going to save it down, all right? So you've had your warning. You have been warned. Okay, so characterization. They make quite a few changes to the characters in this show. Now, you expect some character changes. You expect some. But they've made some weird ones in this case. So, first off, no Pegasus. Pegasus just not even in the equation. I can kind of understand why, because you're talking about a horse with wings. Now, puppetry-wise, you could have done one or the other, but both in a convincing manner, it's tricky. Like, even if they had done something like Warhorse, I don't think it would have really have fit. But then again, they did bring out full puppetry monsters and stuff. So, yeah, whatever. The biggest change is though is that Hades is quite a different character. He's very different to the Hades in the animated film. And I'm not sure if I particularly like what they've done with him. The actor, I want to make this very clear, the actor who played him did a fantastic job. Everything that he was asked to do, he did to a high standard. It's just the choices of the writing for this character I don't particularly like. They make him a lot more unsure, a lot more kind of pathetic. He's not nearly as suave and cool and, hey, how's it going? Very, very different. Also, while the costuming looks beautiful, it's very different. Like, he's got white hair, he's got no blue hair, no blue eyebrows. He's not wearing robes. He's wearing like this sort of suit kind of thing. And yeah, I'm not sure if I like it that much. Again, he does it well, but I'm not sure if I agree with it. Also, no Pain or Panic. Oh no, they do have Pain and Panic in it, but they're not called Pain and Panic. So rather than these demon-like characters, instead they're basically just two random mooks who happen to live in the underworld called, what were they called? Bob and Charles. Yeah, Bob and Charles. That's what they were called. They were basically just two mooks that Hades picked at random to be his underlings. And why? Why was that necessary? Like, they do all the things that Pain and Panic did, but they just didn't make them what they are. It's very weird. Very, very weird. And I didn't particularly like that. They were funny enough, but like, they didn't feel like they were part of Hercules musical. They literally felt like they were like the two comedic relief from a pantomime that had wandered onto the wrong show. That's literally what they felt like. No sweat to the, nothing against the actors themselves. Again, they did a good job, but it was just a very weird change. Also, they changed the plot quite a bit to making out that it was basically like a streamlined, simplified version where instead of like releasing the Titans when the planets align and all this stuff, basically it was just, at this point there's a prophecy that at this point Hades is prophesied to take over Mount Olympus because you have the power to do so. And it's like, it's weird. And again, you might be thinking, well, there's no way they could bring out all those Titans onto the stage. That don't make no sense. But they literally do this awesome puppetry work where they bring out these big hands and the face, and there's a big sort of monster, and Hercules and Zeus are fighting against it. So they're still ending the show with this big climatic battle on Mount Olympus against this giant monster. So it's not so much they just changed the plot, it's more they just, we haven't gone anywhere with this new plot, we've just rearranged the furniture. So a bit weird, to be honest. It's not it's not like a deal breaker or anything, it's just weird. Also, Phil isn't a satyr in this. He's just some guy. Like, he basically owns a bar on Medusa Island. Oh yeah, Medusa's just hanging out in the background, by the way, as like the bartender. Again, bit weird, but okay. But it's not like he's established as a former hero. It's not even immediately clear whether or not he's actually a hero trainer. He's just some guy. And the dynamic between him and Hercules is nice, because there's a lot more of a mentor, sort of father-son kind of figure. There's a lot more dialogue there. So it's nice what they've done to him in a way, but the weird change of just making him just this random bloke is odd. It's like they've insisted on taking away a lot of the more mystical elements of the show and just replace them in the background with other mystical elements. And again, not going anywhere, just rearranging the furniture for reasons which I'm not entirely clear. So I have a few gripes about the actual changing of characterization in the plot, but overall I still highly recommend the show. It's as a show, as a music and dancing spectacle, it hits all the notes. It really does. So still thoroughly recommend. If you have the chance to see it, take it. That's all I have to say. So take care and God bless.